When I think of working with EOS, I think about the ability to deliver something to customers and the ability to work with somebody who really cares about you being successful. We have lots of customers that have been successful with the variety of receivers that they have available. It really is a wonderful solution for capturing high accuracy data collection, as well as a very full-featured product that offered a number of other capabilities beyond just simple GNSS high accuracy data collection.
And also, this is the first receiver on the market to fully support iOS platforms. It has universal Bluetooth to iOS, Android, Windows, and Windows Mobile. So you can now get 1 centimeter accuracy directly into your iPhone or iPad receiver.
The beauty about the Arrow 100, it's firstly, there is no subscription attached to it to get the sub-meter accuracy. You can easily connect it via Bluetooth to any mobile device. It's really lightweight and battery driven. And also, again, it's the sub-meter accuracy you get.
Our real-time network connections are now under 3 minutes with the iPad Mini 4s and the Arrow 200. And that's something that I can't stress enough is the efficiency, and having that 3-minute time has enabled our operations to be more open to collecting GPS points, and they don't feel like they're wasting as much time standing in one location.
For me, I get excited because Esri has software that's available to people that don't have to have PhDs in geography, and we have partners like EOS that make devices available at an affordable price. And now our small water systems and rural water systems have technology that they can use that isn't too difficult, that they can afford and get the same benefits as other utilities that have more resources and maybe bigger budgets than they do.
Getting sub-inch, real-time, no post-processing accuracy has now become a reality for everyone. By using the collector, EOS, and LTI offset routine, we're able to deliver this project on time and under budget.
Working with John Eves and with the entire team at EOS, I realized it's like, wow, you know, the passion that you put on the work that you do, but also the passion that you put on working with your customers. And that's something that, to me, is really important. So, of course, you have great products, and they are unique in many other ways. But what really makes, to me personally, the difference, again, is your passion and commitment to work with customers to solve real problems.
G'day there. My name's Dr. Sean Canning. I'm the Managing Director of Australian Cultural Heritage Management. I'm here today just to have a bit of a chat about our requirements for spatial data capture and the system that we've settled on recently. I'm just going to share my screen, just a bit about us. We're a triple certified leader in cultural heritage management. We're a multidisciplinary team of consultants managing the heritage requirements of major industrial developments, civil works, urban mining and resources developments, while balancing the requirements of statutory authorities and stakeholder groups in our work. Typically what we do is archaeological survey, assessment or excavation, cultural heritage management plans, due diligence, ethnographic and other heritage assessments, GIS and spatial data capture and management, modelling and monitoring, salvage excavations, stone tool ID and analysis, stakeholder engagement, and provide strategic heritage advice to our clients. Typically, we work with traditional owners to record and understand archaeological or anthropological sites around Australia. The work is often in remote, hot and challenging conditions, and sometimes it's emotionally and politically charged, as demonstrated by the fairly recent Rio Tinto catastrophe at Jukan Gorge in the Pilbara. Because of that, spatial accuracy is imperative, particularly around the data capture stage. It's imperative to the effective, efficient and timely management of the places that we record. And all stakeholders need to have absolute faith in the data. So essentially, in any given year, we undertake approximately 200 projects around Australia. The cultural heritage management industry is very highly regulated in every state and local government jurisdiction in Australia. There's stringent legislation and regulation existing at all levels of government, which can simultaneously affect any project. What we've found over the years is that gradually most project proponents and government departments have moved towards requiring sub-metre accuracy of any of the work we do as a default position. Previously, going back a few years, we've been using handheld GPS like Garmin 60s, which were fantastic for their ease of use and their robustness, but obviously they were always compromised by a lack of accuracy, seldom giving us better than 5 or 10 metres horizontal. We then migrated our systems and processes to Trimble DGPS units, mainly GNOs and GOXHs. Now, these were really reliable and tough, but they were also very expensive and relatively fiddly. They did take quite a bit of training to get people proficient with their use. Getting data on and off them and then post-process to sub-metre was also pretty time-consuming, and it became a bit of a choke point in our workflow. We also had a situation where staff were capturing lots and lots of information on paper forms and also capturing photos that weren't linked in any way to any of the spatial objects we were capturing. So they were all remote from each other and it was causing all sorts of problems. So what we've got to fairly recently, thanks to some help from 4D Global and Esri, is we've migrated everything to ArcGIS Online, back end and using Collector as the front end for data capture in the field. We're doing that with Collector on iPads, phones, Windows devices, whatever device we need to do it with, because it'll work on all of them. For us, the huge benefit has been that the data collected in Collector is quite attribute rich, but it also has photos connected to it, and each object can have as many photos as we want, and they're geotagged and linked to that object, so we don't lose them or they don't lose their spatial connection, so we always know where the photo was from. With the collection of the data on glass now through our iPads or phones, there's almost no opportunity for data to get lost or even accidentally deleted. It's difficult to accidentally delete anything. Previously, we had thousands of pages of data collected on paper, and it was obviously really, really difficult to manage, and there was always a chance something was going to get lost. Equally important for us is that the Collector system allows our staff to use it offline when there's no connectivity. We're quite often in remote areas where there's no phone coverage, no Wi-Fi, so being able to capture things offline is a tremendous bonus. And then we can just sync it up once we get back into the office or back into phone coverage. That was all great with the iPads, but the inbuilt GPS is pretty crap, as I'm sure everyone knows. So we then had to look for a solution to provide us with the sub-metre DGPS that we needed. And Peter at 4D Global suggested we try Arrow 100 units, which we did. We trialled those and found them to be really, really, really easy to use, absolutely simple to Bluetooth to an iPad or an iPhone or any other device. Very simple for our staff to use. There's virtually no training required. They hook up straight away. The ArcGIS Collector app picks up the GPS feed from the Arrow without any fuss whatsoever. So pretty much day one, within the first half an hour or so, we were able to collect data with 40 to 50, maybe 60 centimetre accuracy. The longer it runs, the better it gets. They hover around 40, 50 centimetres all day. The critical thing for us has been the ease of use of the training for our staff. There's just hardly any training overhead at all. It's a really simple system to use. Being so simple and efficient makes it really reliable for what we're doing, and more importantly, it's really accurate. So that gives us that quality of data, and the faith and trust that we have in it is really important. It's also allowed us to, using the ArcGIS Online and Arrow ecosystem, has allowed us to develop some online portals for our key clients, where we can present a whole different range of data sources to them. The portals are allowing our clients to view and query mining tenements. They can look at the heritage data that we've collected. They can look at rights reserved areas, admin boundaries, previous reports, previous photographs, hydrology, and a whole range of other environmental data sets. And they can query that themselves, and we can talk to them about the data and how that is interacting with projects that they might be involved in. Anyway, that's the end of my PowerPoint presentation. Thanks very much. I'm just really happy to recommend both the ArcGIS online ecosystem, and using Collector for our requirements has been fantastic. And the Arrow 100s are just tremendous. We're really pleased with them. Anyway, thanks very much.
Hello everyone. That was exciting, wasn't it? Surely you should be all awake by now again. So I'm with HEMA now for a bit over than 10 years, and I remember once someone came to me and said, look, when we started capturing data, we used a handheld GPS, and someone else in the car made a note in a logbook. And then later on in the office, they turned it into a database. Sounds crazy, but that's how it worked back then. About a decade later, we did get our first differential GPS, which was fairly expensive, I must say. And we captured road center lines and POIs with that device using ArcPad. ArcPad did get a little bit old, I must say. Some of you probably did get also some experience with using it. It's a bit dated, it's a bit clunky, it's really hard, or was hard, to change the user interface, and also it was quite unstable, I must say. I remember we set up egg timers, or an egg timer in the car, just to remind ourselves to save the data regularly so we don't lose any data. And ArcPad was running on a Toughbook, and that again was a fairly expensive device, and that's basically a really heavy, bulky, ruggedized laptop with a touch screen. And being out in the field, we obviously needed to make some backups of our data we captured every day, which we still do. But to get the data back into the office, we literally swapped tapes with our fly-in, fly-out crews. So HEMA Maps focus on changed a little bit. We want to support now rural and regional Australia, outback Australia. How do we do this? I have to go a step back because something happened about a year ago. HEMA Maps merged with another company called Adventures Group from Bauer Media. And they came already with a lot of rich content and their range of outdoor magazines. And we realized there's a good synergy or a benefit of merging both their rich content and our spatial content. So how do we support outback and regional Australia? When you look at the latest census data, you realize most of the population lives at the outer, well, the coastal area of Australia. So how do we drive tourism and people into outback region Australia to promote those areas. We have already partnership with land council and regional communities for data collection, just to highlight their assets, their local assets, tourism attractions, and also to help in protection their secret sites. So how do we drive tourism and helping those remote areas? And we do that with what we can do best, capturing data and creating beautiful products. So what we did already, we helped, for instance, the Northern Territory tourism and created a four-wheel drive self-guided guidebook. We also launched recently a HEMA X digital platform where you can later on create a profile, do some booking, plan your trip with all our data built in, and also our latest product, the vector map, which is a multi-scale map. We already successfully launched a platform called GeoWikiX for CMCA, which is the Caravan and Motorhome Club of Australia. And we also launched just recently a web platform for the region in New South Wales, New England, High Country. So how did the transition go to the new Arrow 100? So we talked to the people from 4D Global, and they said, look, why don't you try the Arrow 100 for your data capture? And the beauty about the Arrow 100, it's firstly a lot cheaper than any other competitor out there. There is no subscription attached to it to get the sub-meter accuracy. You can easily connect it via Bluetooth to any mobile device, whether it's iOS or Android or Windows tablet. You might even want to use a serial connection if you want to. It's really lightweight and battery driven, so you can take it out of the car, go for a walk and capture a bushwalk if you like. And also, again, it's the sub-meter accuracy you get with it. So what do we capture with the Arrow 100 GNSS receiver? So we capture still road center lines, but we also capture road point data. And why do we capture point data is because we get a lot more extra information, which means elevation, speed, direction of travel, which later on we can use for other analysis to, for instance, come up with track difficulty. We still have other dedicated devices to capture POI data, photos, videos, and again, everything with the Arrow 100 is sub-meter accuracy. So what productivity gains did we get out of using the Arrow 100 now and the Esri suite? So we're using now Collector for ArcGIS, which helps us basically once we capture the data out in the field, we can, once we are back in coverage, we can send it up to ArcGIS Online, and then literally someone can pick it up in the office using ETL and transfer it into our core data sets. And we have other workflows which allows us to create our beautiful products, which is either atlas and guides, and our flagship product, the Road and Four-Wheel Drive Atlas. And we also have a range of regional and state maps. And then obviously our digital products, where we have a range of apps on iOS and Android and Navigator. And the latest product is the Explorer map, multi-scale, vector format, which you easily can digest into your Esri system if you want to as a WMTS system. So talking about automation, I touched already on ArcGIS Online, so obviously that makes it a little bit more streamlined, getting the data back into the office. But one of our core data sets is roads. And HEMA captured already quite a lot of data over the last 25, 30 years, but we also have third parties where we merge their data. And that data comes in on a regular basis, and it's about like quarterly, basically. The problem we had or faced over the last years, it takes quite some time to merge those two data sets, even though it was semi-automated, but there was still a lot of manual work involved, and it took one person to run it through all the states about 2 to 3 years. So now we came up with a new process using scripting language like Python. And our aim is to turn the whole merge over within 3 to 6 months, if not even faster. And obviously, you know, you've seen all these other products we do, the print products. We have other workflows already in place, which allows us to create those print products. It's either also ArcPy, JavaScript, and we use tools like data-driven pages from Esri to create those atlases and guides. And obviously, you know, we have a lot of other data layers in our database which we need to update on a regular basis, and that's where ETL tools come in place. But even though we have those processes in place, we obviously always look for other ways improving these workflows, because technology evolves, and you know, I'm just thinking about machine learning, for instance, which will help us in the future to make these workflows even more efficient. Thank you very much.